Going abroad is an adventure. It is a time to test your boundaries, get out of your comfort zone, and engage with the world. While we want you to fully embrace this experience, we also want you to be mindful that there are certain risks associated with going abroad.
In this module, we will cover what you need to know before you go, how to take charge of your safety, key risk factors for all students, and a few other considerations.
The more that you know about your host culture, the safer you will be.
The two best ways to start this process is to go to travel.state.gov to research your host country, and then enroll in STEP, the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, and download and activate Alert Traveler, a mobile app that uses GPS and your study abroad itinerary to keep you updated on events that could impact your health, safety, and security while you're abroad.
As you start your research, a few key questions that you should ask are:
what are the local laws and customs?
What are the attitudes and laws about consuming alcohol?
What are the current political issues and how could they impact me?
How do locals view students from the U.S.? How should this affect your behavior?
What is the weather and environment like?
How do you call for emergency services?
What are people's attitudes about gender relations, race, sexuality, disabilities, and how are they reflected in local laws?
Is it considered inappropriate to wear certain types of clothing?
As you know yourself better than we do, it is important to reflect on these questions and take charge of your safety by identifying the key risks to you and how to reduce them, creating an action plan if something does happen, and staying aware of your surrounding and environment. Remember, the more present you are, the safer you'll be.
Worldwide, the most likely causes of accident or injury abroad are traffic and road-related accidents, water-related activities, and alcohol and drug-related incidents.
By far, road traffic accidents are the leading cause of death of Americans abroad, especially for college-age students. Contrary to popular belief, 85% of fatal crashes occur in industrialized countries, according to the Association of Safe International Road Travel.
To prepare yourself, make sure that you research the safest transportation options in your host country. Don't drive or operate motorized vehicles. Avoid traveling late at night by road in countries with poor safety records and/or mountainous terrain. Know the dates of local holidays when traffic and accident rates rise.
Make sure that you are easily visible to drivers when walking. Don't hitchhike. Always wear your seatbelts. Remember that pedestrians rarely have the right of way.
Use only legal, licensed taxis and transportation services, and do not assume rideshare services are legal and safe in your destination.
After traffic-related accidents, water-related incidents are the most common way that students become injured or die abroad.
On many beaches and lakes and other waterways, emergency services may be limited. Lifeguards and warning signs might not be present, and water conditions can be unpredictable. When you are in these areas, pay very close attention to what the locals are doing and be very cautious.
Do not swim alone. Avoid alcohol. Stay in designated safe areas and heed all signs or warnings. Don't assume good weather equals safe swimming, and know to manage rip currents. If you don't know what a rip current is, click on the link in the presentation for more information.
You may be going to a country where you will be of legal drinking age, and you may choose to drink. Be aware, though, that drinking heavily could put you in significant danger and might be seen as extremely culturally inappropriate in many places. Drinking to get drunk is rarely acceptable, and binge drinking is seen as disrespectful and problematic in many cultures. If you do choose to drink, make sure it is legal in your host country, it is culturally appropriate, and that you know your limits. Otherwise, you might
get quite ill and need medical attention, not be fully aware of your surroundings, not be able to react swiftly in dangerous situations, expose yourself as a possible target for a predator, miss class and program activities which would lead to disciplinary actions, reinforce negative stereotypes about students abroad, and finally, risk arrest or detention.
To mitigate some of these risks, if you choose to drink, remember to do the following. Eat. It's a great opportunity to try some local cuisine. Stay hydrated. Water is your friend. Plan ahead. How will you get home? Check in often with friends. Don't leave drinks unattended. There have been frequent cases of students abroad, both men and women, having their drinks spiked. Don't accept drinks from strangers.
And as for drugs, just say no. Of the approximately 2,500 Americans arrested each year abroad, 30% are for drug-related incidents.
The penalties are much too dangerous. Despite what you may have heard about looser drug laws outside of the U.S., drugs are illegal in most countries, and drug laws are often stricter. For example, in some countries, possessions of a relatively small amount of illegal drugs can be grounds for mandatory sentences or even the death penalty. So don't buy, sell, or consume drugs.
Fire can pose a significant risk anywhere, and fire safety standards differ drastically around the world. Some countries may have stricter regulations than the United States, and others may have those which are much more lax. For these reasons, you need to consider fire precautions in any building you visit, particularly how to escape.
Be prepared to make sure your housing, especially your bedroom, has working smoke detectors. If not, bring one with you to install. Make sure you know how to call emergency services in case of fire. Be sure to identify all exits. Make sure windows and doors are easy to open and are not blocked by bars or other obstacles. Be mindful of stoves and other heating devices. Never smoke in bed.
For more information on what to look out for and how to prepare yourself, visit the website of the Jasmine Jahanshahi Fire Safety Foundation.
In 2011, 3 U.S. university students were arrested in Cairo in connection with protests at Tahrir Square. While these students were eventually released and allowed to leave the country, they put themselves and other U.S. students at extreme risk by choosing to get involved in the political upheaval that was sweeping the country at the time.
Civil unrest, political demonstrations, and protests have now become a common occurrence in many of the countries where students study abroad. These events can occur quickly and with very little notice, and they pose a significant security and safety risk. While these events may give you the chance to witness history, you need to recognize that you are guests in your host country, and you should refrain from inserting yourself into an already volatile and potentially dangerous situation.
So that you are prepared, be sure to avoid all protests and demonstrations. Register your travel plans with the U.S. Department of State. Download and activate Alert Traveler so that you are notified when and where protests are occurring, and research and understand the political situation in your host country.
Finally, while many of the risks that we have discussed so far are quite serious, they are not the most common. Pickpocketing and nonviolent theft is a much more common occurrence. While traumatic, if you have prepared adequately, you can minimize the disruption that these incidents might cause.
Be prepared to copy everything: your passport, your credit cards, and any other key documents. Leave copies with someone you trust. If you don't need it, don't take it. Carry your passport and other key documents with you when you travel. Do not put it in your checked baggage. Keep your belongings in sight when out and about. In particular, keep bags in front of you. Call or visit the nearest U.S. Embassy if you do lose your passport.